Hello, welcome to the Robin Family Stories, Part 8, with me, Nannie. I hope you have been able to listen to the other 7 parts of these Robin stories that I have been telling. Today we have 2 more exciting adventures, so are you sitting comfortably? Then let us begin. Rowena enjoys arithmetic even out of school. Do you remember? Rowena, Richard, Rowley, and Rosemary are all cousins. I would like to go to school, baby Rowena, Robin said one morning. Can I come with you, Richard? Her brother shook his head. You're too little, and besides, you wouldn't like it today because we have an arithmetic test. Rowena knew what arithmetic was. It was counting, and she could count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again, she sang in her shrill little voice as she trotted round the garden. She sang her counting song so often that in the end both Mrs. Rosabella and Dr. Robbie were getting a bit tired of hearing it. Rowena, my dear, suggested her mother, why don't you try counting something else? How about choosing 10 of the nicest flowers in the garden to take to Miss Thrush at the Woodland School when we go to meet Richard this afternoon? Rowena thought this was a very nice idea. So, instead of singing, she went round the garden deciding which 10 flowers she would take for Miss Thrush. Because they were all so beautiful, it was quite hard to choose. But in the end, she picked 5 yellow primroses, 3 red tulips, and 2 cheerful daffodils. I have some flowers here. Of course, they're not real flowers, are they? But they are the flowers I made, and I have tied them with a ribbon like Rowena is about to do. Shall we find out? That afternoon, Rowena tied a ribbon round her pretty posy of flowers and then carried them carefully as she scampered along beside Mrs. Rosabella Robin. They arrived at the Woodland School to meet Richard just before the bell rang to say that school was over. A few minutes later, the pupils of the Woodland School came running out. There's Richard with Rowley and Rosemary, said Mrs. Rosabella. And there's Miss Thrush, Rowena. Off you go. Miss Thrush was quite delighted with her present and couldn't help smiling when the baby robin told her that she had picked and counted the flowers all by herself. Aww. When you come to school, Rowena, Miss Thrush told her, I can see that I am going to have a little pupil who is very good at arithmetic. Are you good at arithmetic? Sometimes we call that maths, don't we, in England, when you have to learn all your numbers, all your sums, all your counting. I'm sure you can count though, can't you? Well, the boy robins also had a little bit of excitement with their schoolwork. Shall we find out what happens with them? Our second story today is called Problems with Homework. Mr. Rook has set his little pupils a difficult task. Good, exclaimed Rosemary Robin, shutting her notebook with a snap. That's my homework finished. How are you getting on, Rowley? Not very well, replied her brother gloomily. Mr. Rook has asked us to write instructions on how to make a pencil box. But it would be so much easier if he had actually told us to make one. Rosemary looked thoughtful. Yes, she replied, I see what you mean. I would hate to have to explain to anyone how to knit, but if I could show them, it would be easy. Why? She added with a mischievous smile. That way I think I could even teach you, Roly. And that's what I did with these flowers. I knitted them. Roly grinned. And when you have, he told her, I'll teach you carpentry. Oh, bother. Now my pencil's broken. Oh, I'll have to go and borrow Daddy's pencil sharpener. The little robin found his father working at his desk in the parlour, and very soon he had a beautifully sharp point to his pencil. But he still took a long time to finish his homework. He knew that although he had tried very hard, he hadn't done it terribly well. However, it seemed that all the other little pupils in Mr. Rook's class had found the task especially difficult too. That afternoon, having marked all the books, Mr. Reginald Rook handed them back and looked rather severe. Well, I must admit that I didn't think a lot of your homework this time. You all seem to find it quite hard to explain how to make a pencil box. He paused, and all his little pupils looked at each other in dismay. They quite expected that their teacher was going to say that they would have to stay in after school. Instead, however, Mr. Rook said, I think it would be best if for your next 2 homeworks you actually make a pencil box instead. At that, his pupils looked much more cheerful, especially Roly Robin, who whispered to his friend Sam Sparrow, Now that's the sort of homework I like. I wonder if they made a pencil box like this. Something like that, perhaps. Have you ever made one? Well, I wonder how well you can count, because I thought we could finish today with a little counting song. Like Rowena Robin had a little counting song, didn't she? But we won't sing that one. We'll sing 4 little robins jumping in the tree. Are you ready? Do join in if you can. 4 little robins jumping in a tree. Hang on, let's just use these, shall we? Right. Let's do it properly. Okay. 4 little robins jumping in a tree. One fell off and bumped his knee. Mummy called the doctor, and the doctor decreed no more robins jumping in the tree. 3 little robins jumping in the tree. One fell off and bumped his knee. Mummy called the doctor, and the doctor decreed no more robins jumping in the tree. 2 little robins jumping in a tree. One fell off and bumped his knee. Mummy phoned the doctor, and the doctor decreed no more robins jumping in the tree. 1 little robin jumping in the tree. He jumped off and bumped his knee. Mummy phoned the doctor, and the doctor decreed no more robins jumping in the tree. How many are there left now? None, that's right, because all 4 robins fell out of the tree. That was very careless, wasn't it? I hope you don't jump around in trees. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me for part 8. And I do hope that if you enjoyed this video, that you can give it a like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on part 9, which is coming up soon. Bye-bye for now.